While screen won't result in clipping, it's not one of the blending modes that is affected differently with the standard opacity as compared to the fill opacity. So for example, back at the screen, if we adjust opacity versus screen opacity versus fill opacity, it will have the exact same effect going on for it. Now that said, the next two blending modes will be affected differently by fill opacity, and that will be color dodge and linear dodge add. Let's take a look at how those work. Color dodge is the background layer divided by the inverse of the active layer. So this should result in some very saturated colors with transitions between the pixels, but it's also possible to clip. And in fact, because of this division, anytime you see one of those, you're probably going to get clipping pretty quickly. Let's take a quick look at that, which is a good reason to have it affected differently with the fill opacity. So here is our color dodge. Sure enough, you can see these burning effects occurring everywhere. And if we were to just lower the opacity, those burned out effects are still there. It's just harder to see. But if we were to go in with the fill opacity instead, there we go. We can start to get a different effect, less of that clipping. Still quite a bit of clipping you can see occurring in here, going on pretty easily. So keep that in mind. It could clip. Now, here's something pretty straightforward. The linear dodge add, it literally is just the pixels added together between them. So if we were to switch this from color dodge, let's crank that back up to 100%. If we were to switch it from color dodge to linear dodge add, wow, yeah, we're getting some clipping again. It is occurring, but you can see pretty quickly the difference. Color dodge, linear dodge add. Without that division going on, we do have less clipping. The clipping's mostly occurring in the lightest areas. Now, this is also affected differently from fill opacity. So if we lower it down, you can see that we'll have less clipping occurring as compared to the opacity simply being lowered. It's hiding the clipping that's still occurring because it's becoming more transparent. Now, that said, these will knock out the blacks immediately because this is yet again a lightning blending mode. So you can see that the black background in the amber, if we were to switch this to normal, this black background is just getting completely knocked out as we go through any of the lightning modes. So something useful to keep in mind. Let's take a look at one more image with it being applied. Here we have our beautiful screen effect. Here's a color dodge as compared to a linear dodge add. And you can see that the linear dodge add, in fact, has less clipping occurring. You can see this burning effect happening all across the face. Whereas if we were to switch it to linear dodge add, the burning effect is, we still have some rough areas, some artifacts occurring, but less of them. More so in the white shirt with the light leaves, the light leaves on the white shirt, because again, it's just being added straight together. We can reduce that a bit though by just turning down the fill opacity. Now that's all of the lightning effects that are in the standard 27 blending modes. We've now covered Lighten, which is the channel by channel adjustment, keeping only the lightest pixels. Lighten color, which is the composite adjustment, keeping only the lightest pixels. Screen, which is the reverse of multiply. Color dodge, which by the way is the opposite of color burn. Linear dodge add, which by the way is the opposite of linear burn. You can see how they affect each other differently. With that said, that's all of them for lightening. I keep saying lightning like the electricity, but this is a lightening effect. All right, so when you're lightening, go ahead and start with screen. It's the go-to mode for lightening, and see if you like it. And if that's not doing it for you, go ahead and try the linear dodge add. And if you want even more hyper vibrant colors, go ahead and try the linear dodge. I got that wrong. The color dodge rather than the linear dodge, which will get the much brighter colors you can see going on in the face. All right, so one other thing, I just want to repeat this again and again and again, since we've covered two more. The blending modes that are affected differently by fill rather than the opacity are, one more time, multiply, color burn, linear burn, color dodge, linear dodge add, vivid light, linear light, hard mix, and difference. And every time we hit one of those, I will say this again so that we can keep this memorized. Shall we move on to our next section, which should be pretty exciting? We're going to be dealing with the contrast layers. And I like these a lot because they are very versatile. All right, see you next video.